I'm all about examples. I'm all about witnessing and helping you get the ultimate experience. So if you have an emotion or a thought that you can't stop thinking, if the emotion is getting to you, if there's just like, I can't stop seeing this guy being an asshole, pictures, because that's how our brain sees. Eye accessing, and this is a tool that I help you look at, and you realize that your eyes are seeing differently. And all the energy, you've seen it through that filter, and when you can take that, you do healing. And when you start to observe, and you become aware of it, and you measure it, and then all of a sudden you start letting the innate healing do the tool, you can actually literally notice the picture and the number change. Well, what's doing it? You are. You're choosing to observe, and in quantum field of reality is this: you observe it, you're actually changing it. So you are doing the healing, not me. I'm just directing. So you affect your own world. And one of the things is we just did the cord switching, and that is, it's not cord cutting. Cord cutting leaves the roots. We're going in and we're looking at the roots. We're looking at the shit people put on you, and then the stuff they take. And this is the ego mindset talk. Because in reality, you just agreed to that moment, regardless of how the actions took place. But it will feel in the ego mindset versus the spiritual mindset that, oh my God, they did something to me. If you've ever felt violated, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's like, ugh. And when you can start to pull the roots out, take their shit off of you, and then you take back your power because they took something from you. You'll find out that when you're in sync, everything's great. When you're out of sync, it's the relationship of the energies. Because people can be bullies, and it literally feels like you have to be put into a position, and it feels like your power is disappearing. And when you start to take and change the cords, the roots, and you start to change those things, what happens, especially in the power of the mind and observing, you get your power back. Everybody has had a relationship at some point. The reason why I don't hate my ex, we're two great people that no longer can be together. He still sits there and he can blame me, hate me, he's formed a hate club, whatever, I don't care. But I don't have to lose power to it, that's his world. But I'm not gonna do that to him because I don't believe that I have to keep feeding that. A lot of you will run around, oh, I hate when that happens, and your energy goes into that, keeping that alive. I'm not going to starve my body anymore. So I'm not going to be that, I'm not doing that. You're putting your energy into it and you're keeping that alive. What does that mean? There's not much left here. So you have to heal the knots. You have to heal all the energy you put in. Oh, God, I hate you. Get your power up, and that's where the healing will start to take place. Is that you'll change your own beliefs. And the moment you start to shift that thinking and shift that believing, did you really think you could ever separate yourself like you did?
No, not that quickly. It's the sort of thing that just hangs around and hangs around. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And then when it stopped, when you were complete.
Yeah.
I told you you're probably going to heal another 72 hours, I think it was.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you'll get off this high and you'll come back to reality of choice. What is my personality? How do I want to show up? And you'll start to notice that if you pass the test, you won't be thinking about them. But all of a sudden, if the test comes up, if you have other chords and things, you'll see it, but do I need to respond that way? You get your power back, and that is the life force that starts to repair the body.
Yeah, it's really cool. Gives you a really good sense of empowerment.
That's what I'm shooting for. You can heal yourself. You can empower yourself. You just have to know that you're made of energy, and where you're putting it. Your personality creates your personal reality. If you don't like the life you're living, you have the power to change it.
Yeah. And since then, I think, because when Brenda came in today, she said, how are you going and everything? And I was like, good, because I haven't, is something when you go, like you're just in the middle of something, you go, oh my god, I've thought about the person for 2 days. That wouldn't happen.
God, wait a minute, where did it go?
Yeah, and it's made me think there's more, there's more things to come back to.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I'm sorry to say that yes, if you're really ready to do it, you're just going to start investing in yourself.
Yeah.
Because you're going to be able to move mountains. And when that day, when you actually begin to wake up and start seeing your own little, wait a minute, do I need to do that? And you really get to stand back and say, I don't need to be thinking this. I love when my students that just are, oh my God, I'm so stressed. I just can't get out of being an impression. Oh, I can't get out of this, I can't get out of that. And they start to learn those little things. What happens is all of a sudden the turnaround time, oh, I could go days and weeks. Oh, I've only done it for 2 hours. Whoa, that's Brenda, that's turnaround time. Oh my God, yes. You begin to feel joy. Remember, I told you, you're hardwired for joy. You're starting to crave the fact that you know how to heal yourself. You may not be good at it.
That's when I noticed it. I used to put the radio on, and I went back to dancing to the radio with my little boy. Went through 4 years of shits with cancer treatment and never put the radio on. And then all of a sudden one day I just woke up and we started doing the cleaning and we were dancing around.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
good.
I texted, didn't I? When I
Yes,
danced?
yes.
Yeah. And just naturally, just like dancing around the house.
Yeah.
And that day when you came around, I
Yeah.
was just naturally happy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the more you can bring that nature of joy back to who
Yeah.
you really are, you'll start having spontaneous joy moments.
It's true. Things just coming into your life. Like this place, came into my life. I'm so
Yes.
happy here. Like I was dancing as well. Like when
Yeah.
I come in here, I put on my music and I go in my room and just you just feel so light and it's like, wow, where'd that come from?
Because you're living your heaven state.
Yeah.
You're taking your power back. You're saying, I don't need to invest in that. We go into spiritual debt. And every day we get up and we think the same things, we act the same way, and we go farther in debt because we just don't know what to do, and our bodies pay for it. Our life pays for it. And it's like, When I began to heal my stuff, I started noticing that me and my husband, that was always out of sync, became to the point where I noticed that we were growing completely different. And I had to be okay with losing my family and friends. I'm not them. Why should I have to cut my voice off? Why should I have to? Because in front of my family, I wasn't even allowed to really have a conversation about what I do. Keep it to yourself. I had my ex sit there and broke my heart. I'm chatting with him, I'm excited, I just bought my building. It just fell in my lap. I was like, how did this even happen? I'm just, how did I'm showing a lot of how I reject my reality because I'm disbelieving. Wait, what? But I'm enjoying it. And all of a sudden he said, and I cannot, I tuned everything out except for I just noticed he didn't want to be a part of my life. This part of my life. I was okay and I was allowed to show up the way he wanted me to, only. And if we go anywhere, I was supposed to be what they expected. Keep this to myself. He wasn't going to help me fix the building. Any dime of money that goes into it was not allowed. I could not spend. I said, all these obstacles. I'm not allowed to spend money. I'm not allowed to talk about it. I'm not allowed to be it. I literally walk the talk and dream it 24/7. This is who I am. This is my authenticity. And you're telling me I have to go back to sleep? It hurts my feelings, and it makes me want to cry when I see beautiful people, man, woman, child, adult, that are not allowed to have their true nature of who they are. And I can see that beautiful soul in there going, but I wanted to experience this in my life. And I just want to reach in and give you that path. But I also have to respect where you are. But that day when you begin to wake up, I'm here. And you can start jumping on that path. I had to be okay with losing my family. Not my kids, but part of my family. And it was, they had already made the choice that they're going to choose the ex. I don't get this. Can you just, finally I healed. I just kept healing. And hope therapy is one of the things I do, and I use the pulse points of the body. And a lot of times I'll say left or right. L or R. And I'll say there's 3 points, and there's 1, 2, 3. So you may hear me say L1. It'll be soft or it'll be pushed in deep. So I'll say, hey, she needs to heal her heart. Her heart would be L1 deep. So that's part of your clue when you get home. You know, my heart hurts. Okay, and the other part is you go like this. I sat there and I would hear him and it'd be like a dagger. I'm like, oh my God. And I would just sit there and I'd observe and I'd feel it and I would just be in pain. And I put it on a scale of 0 to 10. I just kept looking at those pictures and looking at how my body was in stress. And it wasn't even just that moment. My body started to go back in time and it's like, oh, I could see it. And I kept, really supposed to be like this. But the numbers started to come down. The mental started to come down. The emotions began to stop. And then all of a sudden, I realized he's standing before me screaming, and it's not affecting me. I'm not absorbing it in. I'm not giving 2 hoots about what he's saying. I don't, oh my God, we're done. When are you gonna be done? I didn't have to be present for him, and he started to lose power. The man that had power over me had realized he could not get any more from me. And I could literally see my aura, that central thing she kept zipping up, mine was not. Mine was like, it was what you call soldered shut for him. It was like, no recovery. And I just went about my business and I started to do what I needed to do, and he just fell. He's like, he knew he was done. When you're awakening up, like I said, everything we do, my life's great. I'm still working on stuff every day. It can be on my reaction. It can be on things that I notice is not showing up in my world correctly. When I watch it, I'm like, oh. It will be how we experience life. Not for you. You can go back through it. So, I love how spirit creates experiences. This wasn't by accident. These are the little things that makes you think and worry and fear. But see, the thing is that when you start to listen to that inner voice, we have different stages of voices. We have the ego voice, we have the spirit voice. And when your soul's trying to get you to resolve, to evolve, it will start to point out little things where you've lost power. You'll say, can you heal now? You can feel it. But you can't, if you're not awakening to the understanding of it, you can't put your finger on it. The soul will just keep waiting, and then all of a sudden you'll feel it again. Can you heal it now? And you still don't know exactly what to heal, but your soul will keep asking you. Because it wants you to take your energy off of creating that, and let's go over here. She says, maybe I should stop looking for a reason why. Okay. Is it true? No. You can tell, your ego mindset can tell you, that maybe I should, and your ego will always guide it all the time. The question is, will you really let it go? No. Because the soul's going to keep asking you, because it's meant to be here to evolve. Can you heal it now? It's going to constantly bring it to your attention. Right now it's a quiet thing, but it's getting your attention more and more and more. And your spirit is telling you that this becomes a habit. And they're showing me that it is to do with we're looking at the circadian rhythm, okay, between 5 and 7 a.m. and p.m. So you have a clock that's saying that when it goes off, you are meant to feel compelled to do something. There's a compelling feeling, okay? And when I ask why is that happening, they say it has to do with what you did toward yourself. A loud broadcast message that, okay, now I'm gonna ask, does anybody ever manipulate you? Did it ever feel like, oh, they just get to me? Feeling? But there is a yes somewhere in there. Yeah. Okay. And usually it will be the stuff in your past. Okay? Now, you moved on, but you didn't take your power off it. Your power still sits there. And if I ask, where did this begin? They go, well, this is 1 month old. Question is, in your environment, do you know what kind of environment you grew up in? Was it a very, people just get to each other, get on each other's nerves? Was there manipulating? What was there growing up? If you don't know it, then you can look at what's going on into your next part of your life. Did you have it with, you said you had a child, so there had to have been a man at some point, right? Did you have problems with that part of that relationship?
Yeah.
So when we don't have to know everything, we just have to know what's happening here. If I ask Spirit, when she's feeling this, they said, well, have her pay attention to, there's just this disbelief. So you have a disbelief somewhere. First thing that comes to my mind is I disbelieve that they can be any good. Now, who is it that maybe you would be thinking this? I don't believe that they can be good. Only show me, okay, so I'm gonna ask, when they show up, they have anxiety, sometimes you see they're overbearing, that you see that they can be stubborn, you can see that sometimes they walk around with bitterness. So when a person's personality shows up with what I just said, there's no way she's gonna change. Okay, there you go, okay? Notice how much passion, I know this one, is there, and there's nothing wrong with knowing it, just understand that this is how much energy you're starting to lose. And when I'm watching this, they said that, like in your face, domineering, superior attitude, angry, erratic behavior. That's good enough, yes, that's how it shows up to you. And when that happens, it shows you that it's like this. Because you're trying to be you, and you know with this person, because it's your mother, you want to bond. But how can you bond with somebody that has this, really? I'm sorry, they're whispering in my ear. Oh, wait a minute, you have something physically wrong with you? No? Energetically, did you have anything removed? No? She's shutting down production. Okay, I'm looking at one of your ovaries. Now, I don't know if you went through menopause yet or not, but one of your ovaries is like, I don't know, play. So I don't know what attitude it had. I mean, I know the attitude it is I don't know, play. Okay, so that's why when I see it certain colors, that's why I didn't know whether it was removed or if there's something else there. You just have to break it down. Right now it just has an attitude. Okay, yes, that's, yes. Okay, and now I'm going to answer that. Why does your body, why did your soul want that to happen? Because you had a deep-seated pain, and it was around 7 years old, that the broadcast messages is that I don't want, now I don't know what you're saying here. Does it have to do with kids? I don't want to be responsible for something. The question is, if you be responsible for things at all, growing up? It's okay. This is part of her coping. That's what she wanted to point out. Did you have to do, you heard her story, how her mom said that she wants it done a certain way, and her husband is, expects her to be the mother to some degree. Were you ever expected any of that growing up, having to do responsibilities, being, like when she feels a certain way, when they feel self-absorbed, are you supposed to do what?
Not get in their way.
Okay. And notice that even if this is how you best understand how to define it. This is the emotion, this is how I'm reacting. They said the vagueness have everything to do with your coping tool. Because when, we're going back to something, that broadcast message. Did you have it to you? No, you done it to yourself. You said in declaration, I'm not going to do something. I'm not going to do something. I don't know what it is. All I can hear is I'm not going to do. Like I'm not going to behave that way, I'm not going to do something, I'm not sure. All I know is that it comes up as, it showed me a lot of indecisive energy. When somebody is very overbearing, it's just easier to go into a state of not thinking. Do you do that?
Yeah.
Right. Because it is more of a vague feeling. And then now you're waking up to it. You don't want to act that way. This is what I'm feeling. I don't want to be that. If I ask this coping, it is what you chose to protect yourself with. Now my teeth hurt, so that means there's a lot of indecisive energy that's happening. You had a lot of panic as well, and you held them in your ovaries and female parts.
I can feel panic.
So what I'm feeling is that this is what's going on with your body, and it's, now all of a sudden I'm shrinking. Energetically, I'm feeling that I have to pull my energy in, because I don't know, because my right ear does not want to listen to the same story. So there was like, you saw the same story. Who else does it besides? See, and this is the thing. How you find these people, it'll usually be, you wake up and realize, I don't like the way they treat me, or I don't like that person. And when you start to notice this, they have the same behavior. It's not about the person that's in front of you, it's about the behavior where you've lost power with. Okay? We'll have somebody do that to you, to show you in some form. And if I ask Spirit just a little bit more, there's a part of you that knows what it's like to be depleted in a relationship. So what's your second one? And that's because it's a coping tool.
Yeah.
It's how I cope with when they act this way. And if you're not knowing it, your body will, in your mind, your body will say, hey, it's at 5 o'clock, you need to be vague, chick, you need to go check out, you need to go act this way. And what will happen is that's exactly what will happen with you. And you'll wake up into the next room going, oh, what am I doing? You know, your body's trying to protect you. Well, what's the last one?
No.
You look at your behaviors, you don't like those parts of yourself. What are you doing that you're questioning? Saying this is the way she's protecting herself. Her brain just went into,
It's like disassociation.
it does, her clarity's off. And it is and it is a form of dissociation. So it is the way to protect yourself. Very good. So you fawn. You go into that. I don't have that particular identity. It is. Yeah, because that's what you've learned. That's exactly it. And the reason, again, why you do it, we're going back to 7 years old. You made that choice that it is easier. I am not, I gotta hear it. Your 7-year-old says that they get to you. I really feel like their behavior gets to you. And that's the feeling. Now, you have to understand when we take snapshots, there's a movie, but you stop and there are snapshots. You said, I don't want to feel that way again. I don't want to feel that way. And I'm asking what particular, I'm going to look at my foot, I'm like, what's going on? They're pointing to the top of my foot. So it means my walking, my gait, my ability to move. It's easier just to stay indecisive about what I want, but be very clear what they want. You chose to live that. Your adult self says, I'm done. Okay, when did she stop doing that? When did you start waking up? They're pointing to the number 3. I can't tell if that's 3 months or 3 years. There's something about you going, wait, and looking around going, I don't want to do something.
I think that would be more recent.
Okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so, and then, but going back, what happened, you carried that still point, it was hurt, it hurt. It was a deep amount of pain. And if I can, tell me more than that. They're gonna come get you. They keep saying, they get to me, they're coming to get me. Was there consequences if you got her way? Did you ever feel this? See, this is the thing. If you're blocking certain things off, what do you want her to feel? Just point it out. Okay, here's the. Do you feel discouraged when you're around these people? I understand that as you start to become more you've got to. It's not your job to please them, it's their job. In the karma, you've heard how it can come back and, bite you in the ass. if you do everything for everybody, and I represent karma as the energy and action, okay? But when it's off kilter to go from one extreme, and you're pleasing everybody, you have no identity, you will always be controlled in some form, and you are, what I'm hearing is now all of a sudden my ears hurting here. I see you running. I see you being very scared and running. I don't know what happened at 7, but that is a decision I think that you decided in the stress, I'm going to be a people pleaser. That's the fawn. If I asked, did you not want to show up like them? Yes, I did not want to show up like them. They just keep saying this is what I decided, I'm not going to be like them. You've been stuck in auto response ever since then. But it can be changed, okay? The feeling that you're having is that you have to go into being vague because that saves you, but it's also how you're waking yourself up because it's that urge of saying you don't want to do that. It's not serving you anymore. Even though in your mind you said this is who I am and it is serving me. But aren't you tired of it? Okay, who are you going to listen to? Yourself is saying it's tired, right? So, how are you going to change it? And that means you have to come honest with yourself. Do I still want to be a people pleaser? And if I ask Spirit, does she want to be a people pleaser? No. I mean, hell to the no is what I'm hearing in my head. You even got so fed up. It's hard for you to make your own decisions sometimes, though, too. So when you got those two at play, it locks you in a position, okay? And if I said if she was going to begin to do something, they wanted you to begin to notice how you disbelieve that you're ever going to be loved. Really? By her, I'm assuming. I don't feel like you are loved the way that you want to be loved. And you are so, you know this, you believe that like 1,000%. You know this.
But another trait that I've noticed is that I'm choosing to be around people that can't get too close.
And that's safety. That's your safety. Is if you can keep them at bay, protecting your heart, then you're safe. The problem is that we're in the evolution process. Your soul is going to keep asking you, can we feel this now? So the stuff in your life is just going to get louder and louder until you decide, I don't really want to be a people pleaser. And it's in the process of the waking up that's very important. So after our conversation, you may go back. Ego may put you right back to sleep, have you do your everyday life, and you may watch that and go, but enough of the information, because you wouldn't be sitting here if you didn't want some roots, if you didn't want the seeds to be planted. You're looking to wake up. You're looking. Because they're saying there's a part of you that says, I don't want to be in that deep-seated pain. And I say, what is it? And you're saying, conditioned to always have to be. You have a very active memory, but you're not noticing it at all. Just, can you give me more information? You don't know how to break certain habits. They're just saying that the habits is your comfort zone. And as long as you go into the habit, then it feels like you're content. So you're not realizing you're putting yourself to sleep. Now, if this is the case, what woke you up? What bitch slap moment? Sorry, if you don't do it on a whisper, you're going to get the bee stings and kick in the asses and, the slap in the face.
I got slapped a few times.
Bitch
I had my car crash.
Oh God, yes, that's right.
Yeah, and I ended up with spinal injuries and a brain injury and hip and shoulder injuries. Then 10 months later I got diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer, but it was telling my son that I was going to die in 6 to 8 weeks that woke me up.
Okay, so you see, she's putting up all the shit. Yep, that's happening to me until The
I
light
had to
bulb
sit
went
down
off.
for a 7-year-old little boy and tell him his mum wasn't going to be here.
And now you're gonna be here a while, aren't you?
Yeah,
A long while.
yeah.
Understand, if you're not sure what it's gonna happen, you will have a bitch slap. It's not a pretty thing, and you can avoid them by going into understanding how to look at things with a whisper, or when something grabs your attention, like a kick in the pants or a slap in the face.
Even
So I don't mean to scare you, but just so you know, if you can just say, wait a minute. And I said to Spirit, when you give it to her with grace and ease, they said that if you started to pay attention to how the relationship that you feel attacked, okay, if you just kind of pay attention to how you feel attacked, it could be just a word, it could be a look, it could be an expectation, and it's in the feeling. And if you can go, oh my God,
Okay.
and you train yourself to do this, and then you can take action. You can take and use any kind of healing tool, because I got a bunch of them on my site. The biggest one will be like, I feel attacked. You observe it, you put it on a scale from 0 to 10. God, I can feel how that hurts. And I call them twangs. The moment you feel a twang, and it may be like a 4, but if all of a sudden, if you weren't paying attention and you're like, yeah, I don't need to feel that, it's gonna get louder. It's gonna get louder until all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, that really hurt. And you'll hear the mind chatter and the emotions take off. One thing is you can just do this, and that is touch the top of the point here. You have your hairline and you have these 2 points on your forehead. You want to bring that 80% of that blood back into your forebrain. So you can go, oh my God, that's a 10, and I just can't stop thinking about it. Now, if you know what the incident is, you can write it down. You stay there, however long it takes, you're gonna start noticing that, wait a minute, I'm not thinking the same as I was a few seconds ago or a minute ago. And the emotions are less. Doesn't mean it's gone. You stay there until you keep measuring it until it's 0. Because you're training your body to say, I'm observing it, therefore I know I can change it. And if you do this without a healing tool, all you're doing is hardwiring your brain to get more and more into suffering, more into memorizing the hell, and that you're always going to have to stay in the hellish state. We want you out of it. Your soul keeps asking you, can you heal this now? Okay? When you start to understand through emotions about your world, it'll make more sense, because you're like, oh my God, yeah. Because it's so fleeting and so fast, we don't realize we go through them. But when they twang and that hurts, then you won't have to be standing in the kitchen sitting there bitching under your breath, or going into silent brooding, where all your power is being drained and you're creating all these chemical peptides in your body to make you sick. So part of the awakening is very important. When you look at that, notice how you're going to keep asking those questions, because there's the disbelief that you have an answer, because you haven't really been exposed to this before. But getting answers, and if you can relate those answers, especially working with your spirit, you will start to wake up and go, wait a minute, like you said, oh, that's a burden. You start to learn the communication process with yourself. And you know what? I don't want to feel this way. I'm going to go heal it. The turnaround time goes faster. The people will stop showing up that way. You'll get stronger. Does this make sense? So, can you see how your body is trying to tell you to connect with it right now? And make it, and it's okay to have these feelings. It's okay to have all these things. And I feel in a way you feel a little bit relief. There's something inside of you that's clinging going, oh. It wants more, but go at your pace. Don't worry. It's not an amazing race to enlightenment. It's not. So your pace is okay. But again, if you're ready to wake up and become more aware and take that action, you can go leaps and bounds. I have what's called the tribe, and it's and it is based on healing. So there's a meditation. You know, you get 4 videos a month. The meditation can take you really deep if you want to go, or you don't have to go at all. But if you want to do it, you can listen to it as many times as you want. Then we have what's called the soul coaching, is where Spirit will bring all the people in the room and it'll actually have a theme that it wants to heal something very specific. And then we do a lot of you doing this.
Yeah.
And then there's the healing tools, which I present a healing tool and I talk more in depth in it about it and maybe help you practice with it so that you can start being comfortable, realizing I don't have to look like an idiot, or people think I look like an idiot, but I'm going to do it anyway because it's working for me. That's EFT, by the way, emotional freedom technique.
But that'd be good for you as well.
And then the other one's a question and answer, but it's also a schooling, because sometimes I can give you tons of information like I have given today, you know. And these are the 4 you get a month, but you have all the archives. So if you just want to do meditations, you can go back and look at all the meditations.
Or if you want to learn, you can go back and watch. Do it in your own pace. You know?
Yep.
Because when I first joined, everyone was going, oh, one do and L1D and this and that, and I was like, I used to have to message you, didn't I? What's L1D? What's
Yes, and I even have a video so you can just watch it and it shows you what that's,
so you then
right?
I think it'd be good for you, that one.
But that's at the pace you need to be at. You know, and I'm just now finally opening up the academy, which is about the very first thing you need is to learn how to communicate with spirit. And it's going to be, it's probably going to end up being a long series because most people don't realize how to stay connected when they're out. It's going to be a lot of troubleshooting to, you know, how do you do that? I want you to be able to talk to spirit like I do. I want you to be able to find your zone. I want you to be able to do this, you know, and when you get into it, now I'm going to teach you a lot of muscle testing and pendulum and all this, is you need a backup device, is you can't always trust the ego. The ego not supposed to be in it at all. A lot of times the ego will come in and that ego mindset where you're over-identified with matter will come in and it'll take you away from who you really are and you won't be able to get the answers you seek. Okay? So, all I can tell you is that if you know you want something different than what you have, not to say that your life's bad, but if you're looking for more of an identity, you're looking for more joy, you're looking for something, then I would tell you to go for it. Because you are going to start finding those answers and spirit will, you'll start to notice, spirit will start handing you things. Good stuff. Right on until here. So, we are always looking for safety, security, and stability, always. That'll be always 3. And when any of those are off, that's when we can go into stress, that's when we can go into a lot of things. So, you know, and again, the power, the tools to help yourself will make a major difference in your world. Because we're so good at observing, you know, and we can't get out of that. But when you tap into, with the healing tool, and you're observing it, the same you would if you didn't have the tool, but you're doing it with the tool, you will see the difference. EFT, emotional freedom technique, just the tapping at the ends of these meridian points. You don't even have to say the phrase. But if you go through the long gamut of rolling your eyes and humming and counting, you're going to do yourself a world of favor because you're going to start pulling out those pictures that are stored. And when you do that, all of a sudden you're like, oh, you wrote it down. Oh, yes, yes. It can even be just an emotion, a feeling like you said is there. And you can even tap that out.